My next upload today is for women that have survived sexual assault and revenge porn. It's a very sensitive issue and it's a topic of interest that I have been a recovery advocate on behalf of, and that I'm raising huge concern for women's rights and for children's rights and the relevant agencies and authorities. So as we know, boundaries, bodily integrity, and privacy and recovery are all a part of a process for competent, mature, responsible, independent adults. So there are matters pertaining not only just to the unlawful actions regarding my child and such and so on, but as I've mentioned, the contradictions and the hypocrisy of a few other more serious matters with regard to the incidence of revenge porn. Now, the issue of individuals that have publicised ordeals of violation and offence and that have been defended and safeguarded in society, when on the other hand and on the other side of the fence, the innocent have been exposed and further harmed. So, as I've mentioned in all my uploads, I have had a recovery process that was very successful from an experience of revenge porn, and that incurred reputational damages. Now, the culprits that have been in my proximity, violating my privacy, defaming my character, publicising and trespassing and intruding and harming my child are and have been safeguarded in a community. So that's a real concern for me when there's a little bit of hypocrisy and contradiction with regard to people's present experiences and matters of initiatives that they have conducted. It's insulting to women and children's rights, and it's concerning for survivors. So the issue of individuals picking and choosing their causes, not defending worthy causes, being hypocritical or contradictory, and harming privacy and breaching confidentiality is all a part of this matter that I'm raising huge concern for the interests of the authorities. So as I'm of a clean track record, as I've state protection, as I'm of employment, former employment with the state, I'm really curious how these kind of individuals have been facilitated and safeguarded and prioritised in a vendetta that has been of exacerbation. So they've really intruded, they've caused further bodily integrity damages, and they are still liable for publications that they are responsible for as well. So I'm just really concerned and wondering, with regard to my recovery work for women and my mental health advocacy with recovery, I'm really concerned what young women and their perspective would be about these individuals canvassing and campaigning and basically exacerbating and safeguarding their wrongdoings with further offences. Is that safe for the future women when, we're at a stage of world history where women's rights is really a big issue? It's a very important matter, and my work commenced long before any of this with regard to women being safeguarded from the effects of those experiences that aren't too pleasant. Revenge porn is quite serious. An experience of bodily integrity violation in relation to the issue of revenge porn. Revenge porn is quite serious. There's the economic losses, there's the professional damages, there's the defamation, there's all of these issues that women have to contend with when recovering from that kind of an experience. So I'm really concerned about the causes and initiatives of culprits, of publications being safeguarded, like for women of the future, women's integrity and women's identity and women's worth are all very huge issues that I've worked for the betterment of, and I'm just really concerned with the double standards. With my personal experience as a mother whose child has been harmed in an unlawful placement that I'm still awaiting for to be addressed 3 years on. So it's all very questionable. So what safeguards are for women like this? I'm a professional educator, as I've mentioned. I'm a creative artist. The legislation developments as a consequence of my presence in society have been pretty paramount for progress. So I'm not blowing my trumpet, but the facts are very simple. How could culprits that have been of publicity and privacy violations and slander, there are individuals that have been quite disturbed, confusing my profession as an educator with a profession that isn't actually in my repertoire of skills. So as a property owner, these individuals that have been preoccupied with offences and damaging the reputation of women and children's rights and offences against the state are all matters that I'm really concerned for the future women to be considering and thinking about. We all treasure our daughters. Our daughters are precious. I have a beautiful son. Sons are precious. But daughters, we're a little bit more careful about our daughters. And the issue of individuals that threaten any daughter and disrespects women and children's rights is all a huge issue. So I'd appreciate that there be a little bit of the hypocrisy, double standards and contradictions with the initiatives and causes that aren't so worthy, that aren't so credible, that aren't so authentic, being addressed also in the midst of all these other offences and human rights abuses that I'm experiencing. The effort and initiative and endeavours and energy, time, and it just has been unfathomable. The effort in this whole experience from 2006, the effort applied to safeguard the culprits that have disrespected my body, my privacy, my good name, this entire situation, it's all a big relevant matter for the future ladies of the world. So I'd appreciate the authenticity and the credibility of all women being recognised, and any women compromising their values, principles, and their their morals. I hope there aren't any women involved or facilitating any of these wrongdoings I'm experiencing to safeguard those that are endangering future daughters of the new generation. So that's as much as I'll say for now. The authorities are aware of my impact statements. So I hope the safety measures are applied and that a good example is being set for all women surviving from very, very serious offence of inconsiderate individuals of revenge porn.